After school sale, they're like a dozen.
I'd like to call the meeting at 7:14. One more thing. These are pledge of allegiance. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm just going to hold it like this.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's our last meeting. We're going to have a party someday. There's a typo on the consent calendar. A5 is supposed to be November 12th, not October 12th. And we had a request from Mary Schreiber if she could move up to the top of the meeting. She has to go. Is that okay with everybody?
What is she doing?
Christmas in the Canyon report. And then I was thinking, should we move the closed session toward the end of the meeting so everybody doesn't have to stay if they don't want to?
I think that would be courteous.
Okay, so we'll move item number 6 to item number, we'll move it down to the bottom. Well, we'll move it after the committee. So what that would be number 10. With that, we're ready for consent calendar. Oh, public comment. Does anybody have anything to talk about that's not on the agenda? Yes.
Just one thing.
For those you know, I'm Dan Dulac, and we're the ones that run Aguinaldo Green and Santiago, the retreat center over there. And I think most of you guys saw the newspaper article that talked about us being in litigation with the county over our use permits. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to call me on that, or after the meeting, if anybody has any questions about that and talk about it or share our frustrations with the county. I'm available for that if anybody is interested. Okay?
Thanks, Dan. Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Let us know what we can do. Okay. And next we'll go to the children's center. We'll go to Mary, Christmas in the Canyon.
As you can see, the signs are ready to be put up. We've got newspapers over here. Some of you have them in your hands. Yeah, there's bundles out. And people can take some and bring them to your place of work, stores around to advertise it. Right now, we have, 2 spaces left, I think. 45 vendors. We've got musicians lined up. Everything's coming along, just fitting together like a big jigsaw puzzle. So we're looking forward. All we're asking for right now is a good non-rain day for December 13th.
No wind.
And no wind. No wind. We're not asking for much. No wind, no rain. A nice, crisp day for people to come enjoy our canyons. We have 45 vendors. There's going to be food, hot chocolate. Santa is coming to town in the sleigh, and will be pictures with Santa at least till 1 o'clock, possibly even longer. We'll have that, so pictures with Santa with kids, dogs, and families. Vendors, activities, music. Zach, you've got the music.
Parade.
Well, the parade is with Santa Claus coming to town. It'll start at about 9:30 up at Station 14, and we'll be coming down the canyon in true canyon style. So activities start with that, and the end of the day will be the lighting of the Christmas tree in front of the old gas station. So we look forward to everybody coming out. If you're participating in it, thank you very much. If not, come join us for a day of a good old-fashioned Christmas. Any questions of anything going on, about what's going on?
I do.
Yes.
What are your needs currently that the committee needs help with?
Decoration,
Decorations.
decorating, we can help. with
Decoration Day,
decorating.
thank you for asking. Decoration Day is December 6th and 7th from 9 to 12. We'll have the decorations brought down to there. Everybody's welcome to come out and join in. We have a group from the Mormon churches coming to help. And we have possibly hot chocolate and something for those who, if it's a cold day. But we need to decorate outside and inside the restaurant for Santa. So there's, if you don't want to be outside, there's one place inside to decorate.
The other
Everybody's
thing-
talents.
The other thing that we could do is if anybody has anything to donate for the silent auction,
The silent auction is the
that
other
would
thing.
be helpful and
Um,
a nice giving for the holidays.
We have quite a few things going. Each of the vendors is going to be donating, but we can sure use a lot of other things for donations for the raffle also. There's some nice gifts coming in. Lacey is in charge of those, so, or see one of us who are on the committee. We have donation receipts for you also on that. So we're going to circle the date, December 13th, to come and join us for Christmas in the Canyons. And take some newspapers with you, please. There's lots of them here.
Okay, shall we go to Children's Center? Oh, I'm sorry, we already did. Consent calendar, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Mhm.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So Bev, it was unanimous? Go ahead.
Okay.
Children's Center report.
Children's Center, stopped by the Children's Center and got a report, short report from Lori today for October 2014. There are 10 preschoolers and 3 school-aged children. All of the children enrolled are from the Canyon except for one. The next item reported on would be grants and upcoming fundraisers. The Rooster Grant is in process with the outdoor classroom project. And I do have a copy here of the grant for Debbie, because the file's too big to send. So she's going to be helping with that, and I think that the new board met with Lori to help and discuss that. Also, the Silverado County Country Fair donated $900, and Lori was wondering how that was going to be received or when, because she could certainly use it. The Wine and Dogs event is postponed. Dennis McHale had a death in his family, so we're going to postpone it to February, probably somewhere around the 14th or middle of the month, or Fat Tuesday, or somewhere around there. And the goal is to host the event at the center to get some exposure for the Children's Center enrollment. In regards to facilities maintenance, she'd like to renegotiate a contract with the SMRPD regarding expenses that are traditionally paid for by SMRPD at the other facilities. These might include pest control, waste management, janitorial services, SCE, and phone and internet. She does have some safety concerns. One major concern is the sidewalk that still needs to be grinded down. I guess it's somewhat of a hazard, and Shay is aware of that, and Steve, and they're going to take care of it. Also, a new issue is the front gate. With the winds, there's been some damage to the front gate, so she needs some help in replacement of the front gate. In regards to income and
You're talking about by the road.
yeah, by the road.
That was the gate that got hit in the accident.
Yes, and it's been a little off kilter, but now it's,
And then she put
Storage.
pretty things on it,
Yeah.
which catch flame more,
Yeah.
so that's gonna bend more.
Steve, what do you think about the gate?
It's pretty beat up. I mean, it definitely needs to be replaced. I mean, it needs to work for sure.
And it's not secure either, so.
Steve, remember when the SMRPD Children's Center was reimbursed from that accident?
Yeah,
And we were supposed to get a new gate?
yeah.
You got like $4,000.
Yeah,
It was 21 something, I think, is what I wrote the proposal up for,
Yeah,
and I think it was paid. I don't know
But
what.
it wasn't replaced.
yeah.
It was
So-
paid. I know it was paid. I'm
And
pretty
how
sure it
long
was paid.
ago was that? That was a long time.
Long time ago.
It was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
And that money saved them from being in debt that year.
Okay,
Oh, it was repurchased.
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So Steve, maybe you could like get an idea on what we could do that would be cost effective and get it back to the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I heard what she said. She gets out, she has to unlock it, pick it up, pump it open and close, and that's
Well, there's
probably.
no power down there though, you know, so for the,
No, if it would swing, and then, I mean, it's dragging on the ground so bad, she has to lift it in order to open it,
well,
so
we had, yeah,
that's what,
okay.
swing would be good.
Apparently she had to get somebody to help her open it today. She couldn't open it,
Yesterday,
or yesterday?
yeah,
Okay.
but I went over, what happened, Shay was right on one thing, the bamboo stuff that you put up on there, it does catch the wind,
Okay.
and it's pretty tweaked now from the
You're right.
the bar that goes down, down in the ground, it slides, you know, and you lock in. It got tweaked, so I brought a Gorilla Bar over there today, and I bent it back so she could get it in and out, you know, slide the thing in and out. So, but the other side of the gate was wiped out from that accident. And I put a temporary gate that I had from work, you know, I put that up, and it's still there. So, and that thing's not that good. I mean, it's just one of those little temporary gates you stand up, you know, for blocking up construction. So it needs to be done right.
Maybe you could work up a proposal for the board to look at next
Okay,
time.
I can give you the old proposal that we had before.
Okay.
We were wanting like a rolling gate that,
On the track.
yeah, if possible.
I might be able to
Well, on
get
wheels.
a deal on one of those too through.
Okay.
My experience with rolling gates is it's way better to have a swinging one because the track gets beat up and
You get
gets
dirt
in
and
it,
stuff in it, and it just
It
gets
would
jammed up.
happen there.
and they don't roll very good after a while, and they're hard to push. So
You can get the ones that have a rolling, it doesn't have the track on the bottom, the double roller. Those work a lot better. So
yeah, there's one right across the street. Maybe you could repurpose it over to our side.
There you go.
Okay, in regards to income and expense, there was tuition collected of $2,890, rent paid by Celebration Education of $480, and expenses were $9,258. In regards to a licensing update, we still have an appeal that's pending. I do have a copy of the licensing reports for Sherry Medic. So she's not here tonight, so we'll get them to her.
I'll give them to her.
There you go. Program, in regards to program update, the outdoor classroom project will break ground in December. That is the Rooster Grant project. And I think that Lori is working on that. She needs help from anyone who wishes to assist from the community in regards to carpentry, masonry, landscape, or plumbing skills. She is planning an advisory committee meeting, and the next meeting is December 15th at 9:30 a.m. In regards to community support, she's looking for volunteers to assist with the street appeal project, and she has all the tires painted, and she will have them staged as animals, frogs, and bumblebees, and it's going to be a nice display at the street to attract attention. She does have some help from Big Mike, I think, and a few other community members now. I think it's really going to get some attention on the street and get some good street appeal. She is looking for carpenters to work on the outdoor classroom project, and she also wanted to shout out a big thank you to the Solario Taguchi family, who is the only non-Canyon member, for their generous donation this month of $800. They said they donate every year, and they wanted it to go to the Children's Center. Also, $800.
$800.
And a friend of mine also donated $250. So she said thank you to my anonymous friend. And she also wanted to thank the Country Fair Committee for their generous donation, which will help for Kenyon kids' scholarships. And that's it. Any other questions?
This is the grant proposal. Do you have a copy of the award letter?
You know, I asked Greg for a copy of the award letter. I do not have that, but the award was less than the grant request, and I put that on the back page.
But do you have the award letter, Greg?
Do you have reporting requirements, or?
Look at the very back page where Linda did what we're gonna send them as far as our approval process. Reporting requirements is they want us to tell us what they did and how it benefited the kids.
Yeah, this is the form, the request for grant reimbursement, which is the second to last page. And the last page is an outline of the outdoor program. It's a Nature Explorer program. And so it has to meet within this criteria for financial approval. So there's a key down at the bottom which we proposed. And it's environmental education supplies, which would include books, games, blocks, and toys. Child development administrator, director, and educator, 15%, up to 15% of one full-time position. And that might include like classes in education. I think Lori's planning on taking a class. And any time that she spends putting together the program or with the kids during the program. And then children, program director and educator, 12% of one part-time position. This was a position that we had for Kelly, but it's now vacant. And then children center preschool teacher educator, and that's 12% of two part-time positions. That would be the teachers. So if we had teachers, I think they have one teacher right now. And the award, the total award, we asked for $15,000 and we did get $9,000.
All right, did you get a check or is this a reimbursement grant?
It's a check.
Okay.
And it's already in the bank, we're waiting for approval. And so there's 3 approvals at the top, the SCC and Greg as the Roosters grant administrator, and then an administrator from the SMRPD has to sign off on it.
Okay, so,
I'll get that letter for you. It's in my file from the month we got it.
all right, so, but you're the administrator for Roosters?
For the grant,
Right.
yeah. And so one of you can be the administrator for the SMRPD. You probably have to pick someone.
Bob?
Is there a full-time equivalent number for the 10 and 3 students?
There is not a full-time equivalent number.
Okay, thank you.
The program that we had slotted to purchase, she did not purchase, she has the program, she did purchase the program, but we did not have the money for the computer yet. The $250 that my friend donated is for the computer, to upgrade it because the program won't run.
I'm sorry, the computer?
She needs a new computer, because the
For what?
computer is old to run the program, to measure the full-time equivalents.
That's a fairly simple arithmetic.
Well,
Never
because there was
mind.
so much question on it, I guess she didn't want to fill it in,
Right,
so it's not filled in.
okay.
Linda?
Can you give a little bit more information about what the expenses were? Did you say it was $9,000?
What the expenses were?
Yeah, expenses, not the income.
You're asking what
What was the total expense?
allotment? It's $9,000 and it's
For the month?
No, she's talking
No.
about for the financial report.
Yeah, she's saying that.
oh, the financial report, okay. Alright, let's see. Now I'm gonna look at it, we can all look at it together,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to take this call.
okay?
Hi, Lynn.
Could I ask another question, please?
Yes.
What is your tuition income per month?
the tuition for the month, she has it, I just gave it to you,
2890.
2890.
Okay, so at $800 for a full-time student, that's about 3 something for the full-time equivalents.
Right.
Right,
Pretty simple
probably.
calculation,
Pardon me?
pretty simple calculation.
Right. Okay.
Maybe you and Linda can work on that, and go through the expenses when she gets back. Or at the end of the meeting.
Most of the expenses are related to payroll and taxes.
Jenny?
$9,000 is payroll and taxes with one teacher and one director for a month.
Well, the majority of it is, as it always has been, and you know, it's always been tuition. I mean,
Salaries and wages.
salaries, taxes,
No,
work comp
utilities,
insurance.
work comp. I mean, they're pretty
You want a copy?
simple.
Yes, I would.
Just come up and, or,
Actually, I don't have my crutches outside. I'll get one in a little bit. Thanks.
Insurance is $1,247. Office expenses are for internet, office supplies are $673. Telephone. Legal, bookkeeping is Megan, $520. Salary and wages of $49.93. Payroll expense, other payroll expenses, SUI, Medicare, so on and so forth, are $408. Repairs and maintenance were $130. Utilities were $461. Special department expenses, which include curriculum supplies, some of those which will be allocated to the grant, and animal expenses were $503. The telephone was $147, and uncategorized expenses were $95. So it's pretty simple.
Simple.
Well, the utilities say $461, and that doesn't include the telephone?
this is the standard bookkeeping that's been done for the last umpteen years that Megan's been our bookkeeper, so you can read it.
Would that be the electrical bill then for utilities?
Gas and electric trash.
Okay.
Yeah, right there it says so. Do you have no Bob?
No.
She's got a list if you want to look for it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And so how much did we have to give to the Children's Center this month? Is it the difference between the 28 in tuition and the 9?
Over the period of the last 14 months, we gave.
I mean the last month.
As far as I know, it's $2,000.
They made 2,800 and their expenses are 9,000? How did they meet their expenses?
That's what Megan asked for in the last, wasn't it 2,000, do you remember?
No, I
Well-
don't remember the last one.
It was because it's 5,300, it's 53,000 in these financial statements, and the number Megan gave me that we paid today is 55, so.
Actually, I'm just talking about the last month.
$2,000.
$2,000, so there was,
So
must have been more
they're gonna be
tuition,
short like $4,000 or something, right?
or there must have been tuition money.
$2,800 in tuition income.
There must have been more money last month.
Actually, it'll be less because they got the 800 plus the 250, so there'll be less. There'll
Less
be,
what?
They had some donations.
Right,
Yeah, we had
yeah, I
donations,
got
yeah.
but over the last 14 months, it's about $3,800 per month that
Thank
we've
you.
given to the Children's Center.
Thank you.
So historically, and Shay can probably tell you more than I, it's been about $1,000 a month negative. So we've been about $2,800 a month additional over the course of the last 14 months negative that the district's been putting in.
I'm sorry, I was writing this down, wasn't it 3,800 a month for the last 14 months?
So we took 55,000 divided by 14 months. We got about 3,800 a month as our negative for the year, per month.
And he was saying historically it was $1,000 a month, but they had all those big fundraisers. So since Amy left, it's increased an extra 2,800 a month.
Right, and we've been, you know, if the fundraising goes the way it kind of looks, we're on track to get about 1,500 a month in average fundraising receipts. Because we made more money at the chili cook-off, and she's got another fundraiser that now with Dennis's death in the family is going to be put off.
Right.
So we take, that's about $2,800. Take another 1,500 off of it, or no, another 500 off of it. So now we're at a negative that's spent approximately 2,200 a month.
A lot of it was in the beginning because from like September through February, because we had a lot of expenses. We had more higher salaries because we had the consultant in there, and we had more teachers. But now our expenses are lower than they were.
I talked to Lori this morning, and she said she's got one kid coming, 2 kids this month, and 1 kid's already signed up for next month.
She just got a somebody new today too. So.
And those aren't in the 10 preschool and 3 school age?
No, actually she said this October was a really bad month, and November is going to be a much better month. So we'll see next one.
So how many kids is the other education, celebration, education people have there?
I don't know how many they have. They had about 8 to start out with, and I think it went down, but it's not dependent, the contract is not dependent on number of children. At this point, right now, they're paying $80 a day.
$80? It sounds like more like, it's only $400 a month, $480?
Yeah,
For 2 days a week.
for 2 days a week.
Oh, they're not, they're
But
only
we-
there 2 days
Well,
a week.
4 of those kids are the kids of the 2 women that are running it.
Yeah, we still get the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we thought that we
So
would
it's
really
4.
leave it to the next board to really address the contract fully and complete it, because we really didn't feel like, with making any decisions related to the contract, because the new board may want to do different things, so.
So they're just on a, like a month to month?
Right now, they're on a month-to-month, and we've left it that way with them. We had suggested that they pay by the number of children, because it's more wear and tear on the property, if they have more children, and that they should pay some of the expenses related to cleaning and those kind of things. But we will turn it over to the new board to make those final decisions. But we didn't want, if the new board wanted to do something else with it, we really didn't want to make any decisions related to that right now.
Linda, the numbers you were giving us for tuition and expenses, were those for October or are those November so far?
October.
Those are October, okay.
Anything else for Joyce?
Yeah, I had a question, please.
Yes.
I don't trust my memory on this, and I just want to make sure that I've got it right. It's my impression that maybe 2 meetings ago, this board voted to continue, I don't know if subsidize is the right word, but could you just help me out with the date? Was it through December of this year, or was it through January of next year? There was a vote, and I just,
You'd have to pull the minutes up, I don't remember.
what's your recollection, or what's your sense?
December.
I thought it was through the end of December, but I'm not sure.
I read the minutes.
Yeah,
And I
thank you.
think it was the end of December,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
And also, we currently have 1 full-time teacher and 1 full-time teacher and director, correct?
No.
No, we have
a
one,
part-time director and a very part-time teacher.
So those positions are both part-time.
actually, I would say that Lori's probably working full-time or more right now, and then and there's a part-time teacher.
How much was quoted for the, the salaries per month? I think it was $4,900.
Yes.
$49.93.
2 part-time people?
No.
Well,
So
Lori's been working more hours because she had
Well, is she
a new
part-time or is she not part-time?
she's full-time.
Okay.
And she's actually been working more than full-time, and they,
She's working 9 hours today.
right, she's been working some 9-hour days. As well, they had to, the new person, they had a person call in sick, and they had to call in a service, so that, you know, there's another, I guess, part-time position, if you will.
But in October, was she there by herself the whole month of October, or?
No, Janet was there, and Janet Lang was there, and then we hired Kat. She hired Kat, who was 11 years. She was administrator of the Garden Grove facility, so she's pretty qualified. So she hasn't been there alone.
So Janet and Kelly aren't there anymore?
Janet retired, and Kelly took a new job.
And Emile, was that her name? Emile?
Amiel was
Amiel.
an employee of Celebration Education, and because they didn't get the people that they expected, they actually let her go, so she's not there right now.
But according to Megan, she was on our payroll.
Well, because we used her part-time when we needed her. But she's got another job apparently.
Okay, let's move along to our next item. Next item then.
Wait,
Yes,
can
go
I
ahead.
ask a question? What was the date, ran through a date, the date of the work party for the outdoor classroom? You said December, was there a date?
Question mark December. She isn't set.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I know she's got some people lined up to help her, and if anybody is interested.
Okay.
Linda?
I had a question about the payroll in August. I know that there was a month when, because of the September holiday or whatever, you paid extra.
And summer school.
Right. Oh, summer school was in August, so you had more staff. Okay. That would explain it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone?
No.
Okay. Next item, review of all the funds loaned to the Silverado Children's Center Enterprise District. So, as Bob had brought up at a meeting, we've not voted all the time on the money, and I figured we better vote on it, so we've got it on the record. According to Megan, she texted me today, and the total is $55,000 as of today. So I thought we should,
55,000 even?
yeah.
Is it in here?
It's in there, yeah.
Or is it in ours? It's in ours, right?
It's in both. This is through October.
I think it was
This is
53.
through October, and then 2,000 more for November.
Yeah.
Oh,
So 55K. And so I thought we should have a motion to approve those expenses that we've paid. Or are there any more thoughts or questions? We don't have a motion yet. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the money that we spent keeping the center going?
and then we'll have public comment on that?
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Okay, now discussion. Shay, what did you-
Oh, I want to hear from the public.
Anything you want to discuss? I mean, this is money that we've talked about all year. It's money that we've paid. We're doing a vote today to make sure that it's in the books, that we've
It's on
got
loan,
it in the
it's
books.
a loan,
Yeah, like Bob
and it's going to be
recommended.
repaid.
It's what? It's gonna be repaid.
It's a loan, so it should be repaid to the SMRPD because
Should
it's a
be
loan.
repaid.
By the Children's Center?
It goes on to the 61,000 that they're gonna
Right,
repay.
Linda?
you're right, it
Linda, you had a comment?
goes on to the
I had a question.
61,000 that
Yeah,
was
go
the
ahead.
loan before.
Okay.
I see, under the line item number 2201 is SMRPD, and then there's a 2201 other. But it doesn't have a different code, so it would imply that it's all SMRPD. But do you know the difference, what's the distinction between the 53,000 and the 28,950?
It's something that she and the auditor did where they divided up the 60,000 from before, and if you look at the next line, 2202, I think that those two add up to about the 61 or whatever the number was. Brett, do you remember what the old number was?
61 or 63,000, but that accumulated over a 15-year
Yeah.
amount
So
of time.
that's
I
where it
believe.
comes from.
Okay.
Something bookkeeping that they did, and I don't know why she did it. She said, sorry to confuse us, because I said, wait. So
Yeah,
that's
because
how
I
she
thought that
explained
the
it.
old paper was higher than that 36, so that would explain it.
I guess my question is on the 50.
Just
Oh,
a second, we're not
I
there
thought
yet.
we were done with that one.
If you go to this one, sorry, in the SMRPD one, it shows up as 65,798 from the old.
Or in which,
On the,
It's in the one you don't have.
oh, okay.
So-
Okay, fine. I don't really need more paper. That's
It's
Okay.
the,
You're borrowing
I'll
mine.
take it though.
it's the SMRPD financials. So if you look at this, it's
Why
the
are
no
they
payable
different?
in the financial statement
And I don't know
for
why she does it
SMRPD.
that way.
Yes.
Linda, is that Linda, is that enough?
Yeah, thanks.
Brett?
I guess the 50 whatever thousand right now that you guys are voting to approve, does that include the improvements and everything on the building as well?
Everything that we spent there.
Okay, good. That way it's, in case we ever sell it, we want to know what we can sell it for. So.
We've got an appreciated asset now.
Is the Children's Center a separate entity from SMRPD? Normally when I think of a loan or a note payable,
Yes.
you have to have a separate entity as opposed to, well, this part of ourselves is gonna owe to this part of ourselves.
Private enterprise, it's,
Well,
right?
it's really like what you said, it's this part of ourselves loaning to a enterprise district, which is how us as SMRPD set something else up that's making money and charging monies. Is that a pretty fair description, Bob?
Well,
You have a general fund and an enterprise fund, and it's an enterprise activity.
So
So
where
it's
we're
an
out,
enterprise activity, but it's all under the same entity, really.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's just a bookkeeping.
Yes.
Well, John, there's, for government entities and nonprofits, you do fund accounting, which is the legal requirements for segregating your funds. It used to be you had to have separate bank accounts, and then the feds decided in their wisdom that that might be too cumbersome, so they would allow fund accounting rather than separate bank accounts. So there's some financial, legal implications to it.
Thanks.
Okay.
And then one more thing. So
Yes.
today the board's approving funds already spent.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any other public comment?
Anything, Sean? Okay. Comment?
No.
And it's call for the question, all in favor? Linda?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Shay?
This is too hard for me personally, for working there for 12, 13 years and volunteering in my spare time for 15. I am too personally connected to this. I'm going to abstain.
Vote passes. Did you get that, Bev? Okay. Next item on the agenda, report on policy use for names and others. Linda said that she still had some things that she wanted to work out, and so I'd like to table that for tonight.
And then, the policy committee could meet and work on that?
Well, the last time we met, we got it from the policy committee, and you had some comments that you gave to Linda.
For the attorney, but we still didn't work out the language on the end of it, so we'll
And
table
the
it.
attorney haven't finished it, so
There's still some confusion.
Okay.
you guys will have to decide if you want to send it back to policy after you talk to the attorney more, or
Okay.
what you want to do with it.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll table that one. And next item, celebration education agreement. As we mentioned before, we haven't got something in writing that we're comfortable with bringing, so we're going to table that motion too, if that's okay, or that item too, if that's okay.
I just have a question.
Uh-huh.
Which of you has been handling those negotiations?
I've been talking with Heather Mortensen, and then Lori's been talking with him, and Linda has been too, so.
I've not really talked directly with them. I've
You
been
talked
kind
to
of the
Lori.
go-between between Greg and kind of changing the writing the comments on the agreement. And I did get a communication back from Lori yesterday, and they had several comments on the agreement changes that we sent to them. And there were just too many to really address within the last 24 hours, and I thought that really it needed a meeting with you all to kind of sit down and talk with them,
Okay.
and we could forward that on to you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, if you want, we can tell you where we've been, because it's negotiations, so we're
I
not going
think
to
they
talk about it
just
in
want
public.
more than you may want to give them at this time. That's all I want to say.
How has it worked up until now? They've been there for a few months, and how has it worked if there was no documentation of, they just wrote checks?
Yeah, so they were
Yeah,
going
I mean,
on,
it's a verbal agreement and it is month to month, but what they want now is, I think some of the things that they're asking for are, in the agreement, we said, based on availability, they want a definition of, you know, what timeline we want. Is it, you know, a month out? Do they need to notify us? They also want to be able to, if they have a day scheduled and they end up canceling it because they don't have enough kids signed up, they want to be able to cancel it and not pay us and then schedule another day. Well, if we already have something scheduled, or we're already committed to somebody else on that day, I didn't feel like that was appropriate, and they should have to pay, even if they don't use the day, based on a certain, I guess, cancellation policy. But there's not one in place, so I think that needs some development.
I just have one comment. I don't want to sound negative. There is currently a school existing on our site, and they're paying rent, and this board never agreed to renting the facility. It should have gone a different way. There should have been a meeting of this board to discuss what that rent would be. I know that that's what we're doing now, retroactively again, so it would have been good to do that through the front door.
we kind of figured it was good to get the $500 a month to help defray the expenses, since we weren't using the space anyway.
I think it was not decided by the board, and that's why there's no contract signed. I think it was, the director of the Children's Center has them in there pending an agreement, and it also, in the contract, states pending approval by the licensing agency, which we have submitted. We can't even, the board can't even, I think, decide to even do this before we get approval from the licensing committee. I mean, the licensing agency, so I think it's,
Has there been, I understand that to have a school, you have to submit some kind of affidavit with all kinds of information about the school you're gonna operate. And it sounds like this homeschooling group has been advertising that they're running a school there, and you can even drop off kids. Are you aware of them submitting any kind of application to the appropriate authorities regarding running a
Yeah, they're a full-time group and they've got schools like this going on in 5 or 6 different places.
Have they submitted the affidavit for our children's center to run a school there?
We have submitted, Lori has submitted it to the licensing agency, yes.
No,
Lori,
this goes to the State Department of Education. This isn't a licensing.
Yes, oh no, they have all that, yeah. They have all that on their own. They're only renting time, sort of like, you know, the programs that SMRPD has in there. I think there was a couple in the recreation.
The Mommy and Me.
Yeah, the Mommy and Me thing. They're only like using time right now.
Has
of the
anyone
facility.
asked for or seen their documentation?
Their documentation?
Yes. What's being asked about?
They're, I mean, they have, it's all online. So, and it all got printed out and it went to the licensing agency.
It's all online.
Where is it online?
They have it online and
On
it's
their-
been printed out and
On their
submitted to the
celebration
licensing
education
agency.
site?
Yes,
Yeah.
whatever they have. I've not really been involved with it.
Has anyone?
Lori's been doing the most work with them.
And who has Lori reported to about that? I'm just curious.
I mean, she and I have been talking about their contract and licensing, and that she's sent all the stuff off from our end. So John, I haven't seen their, you know, state, whatever they have as a school, but they're running as a school in multiple counties, I think in 4 or 5 counties. When you type
I think their number is on their website, their education number.
It does sound like they have other facilities, but
Right.
I was confused because if you go on the internet, they say they're running a school with us there and you can drop your children off 5 days a week, 9:30 to 5.
you can't do that yet.
But that's what they're
That's what it
advertising.
says.
Well, that's what their hope is, I mean, part of the reason we let them come in at the rate we let them come in at was if they could work that out and make a go of it, we'd be making enough money to pretty much close our negative in a space that we weren't using. We didn't even get to them until August maybe, and they're behind the 8 ball, so they didn't get the kids they were hoping to get because they didn't get to advertise because they didn't know we were going to even let them have the space until, late in the year. Jenny?
Yes. So they can drop the children off at the school, the parents can, and then come pick them up later in the afternoon?
No, I think
The
they
parents have to be on site during the entire experience?
Yeah, you could call Lori and talk to her about it.
Well, I mean,
I don't
you
think
should
that's
know
what
for
I'm saying.
licensing.
There are parents there, but I don't think all the parents are there all the time with their kids. I don't
Well,
know
then
how that works.
if the children are left in the care, then we need to get a licensing approval, and that's what you're working on?
That's already been submitted, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so
How are
this
you
is a
allowed to even
table-
have the doors open without that?
This is a table discussion, so we're not gonna go any farther. Brett, you had your hand up though.
I guess I think a bunch of people got together a while back when we were trying to help out the Children's Center, and a bunch of people came, and Laura from the homeschooling came, and that's where the homeschooling idea came from, and now it's evolved into where we're talking tonight.
Well, Laura,
So it's a good thing because
Laura
we're
brought
trying
these
to.
people to us.
Well, I know, exactly. It came out of this group
Yeah.
discussion that, hey, maybe we can do some homeschooling activity here too, to bring in extra revenues for the Children's Center to help make it survive. And so that now we're at this point, and I think what a lot of people are asking a lot of questions tonight are just, there's a lot of question marks, like, I'm not sure if I heard correctly that our licensing is allowing them to be there, or are we still checking into that?
Our licensing agency, the Department of Social Services, knows that they are there. We have submitted the application, and it is
Okay.
under review.
And they said it's okay to be there, so we've covered that
No,
as a
They did
board.
not-
She said that.
It's
No.
under review.
I don't think she said
It's
that.
under review.
It's under review. So are we supposed to wait until we rent out the space?
I have not spoken to the licensing agency. That'll
Right.
be something that the next board will have.
And I
to
guess the big problem
follow up
too,
on.
we have a director we're paying, and she could maybe answer some of these questions, and she should really be here to do her job. I think one of the biggest things about having a director is the reports monthly, so you guys know what the heck's going on. You're trying to answer questions you can't answer, and we've hired her to do that. So I hope in the future she can come to the meetings so we aren't going around in circles here chasing our tail. Because it would be really nice to have the professional that we hired.
So, you know, part of the reason she's not here is that we've cut the staff as far as we can.
No, there's no excuses for this. That's her job. It always has been. I've been coming to meetings for 15 years. The director has been here on every meeting, even when it was unpleasant. When Judy came and was being fired, she was here. So there's no excuses for her not to be here. She's getting paid to be here.
Judy wasn't fired.
Or she
That's-
quit.
that's-
I don't
that's a
know what
rumor.
happened. Whatever happened during those really rough meetings.
Didn't happen.
But what I'm saying is, it's really hard for anyone to get a clear picture right now. So it's a real shame that she's not here. I guess that's what I'm saying.
The contract is.
Because you guys can't answer the questions, evidently, and she can.
Okay, thanks, Brett. Next item of business is Riviera Parking Agreement with the Fathers. This is the annual renewal time to do this. So far, it seems like it's working out nicely. They're happy. This allows our insurance to cover them when we have our people parking over there. Any comments from the board first before we go to public?
We didn't do this already this year?
No, it's this time of year, November, December.
Oh.
Linda?
If there is one item that you ought to put off for the new board to review, this is it.
I would agree.
I would agree. Given that the original, especially given that the original agreement was negotiated potentially in violation of the law by one or more board members without any discussion of the intent of the board to do that before the public. And the actual agreement, I believe, was ratified after the fact. So it was probably one of the major issues that brought the actions of the board into question. And it would be nice to let the new board review it, I think.
What's the expiration date?
December, sometime in December.
Sometime in December.
December 20th.
December 20th?
Yeah. Kevin?
I'd like to say, before renewing, or, I mean, maybe renew but renegotiate, we always want to try to get open space, and that seems to be going to be open space. And so why not negotiate it as we would manage that as open space? That way, we could park there, we can police it, we can clean it, we could make sure it's, vandalism is not going on, the trash is picked up, and that type of thing. And then we don't have to call them every time that we would have to have someone park there.
So we've asked them that for the last couple of years and then starting it, and they said that until their whole project's done, they're not gonna donate the land to us.
I just meant manage it, as open space management, not to have it, to own it.
Well, we aren't gonna be doing that tonight, so the proposal tonight is, should we do this, or should we postpone it and let the next board deal with it? What do you think, Shay?
I believe that anything that the next board is going to be dealing with, since this current board is leaving really soon, and there is time to still do this with the new board, I think that the new board should look over the licensing agreement and be the ones to sign it.
I don't have a problem with that. What do you think, Linda?
I don't either.
Okay, so we'll table this. Okay, Shay, do you want to introduce your new brochure?
Oh, it's in.
There's one right over here. Looks like.
Yeah, but I have a box. We have a new lovely fall-winter brochure that Kevin Top, Linda and I worked on. Mostly Kevin, as you can see, it's beautiful. Anyway, just wanted to make that introduction that we do have these available. We got 2,000 of them. So we have a lot. If anybody is going any place that can put them in a little, kiosk at a coffee shop or wherever they hang out where families are, or people might be interested that's semi-local to this area, we'd love to give you some to take away. I have a box in the car.
They should all go in all the vendors' booths,
Oh,
at Christmas
yeah,
in the Canyons.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah, we tried to do that for the country fair. We tried to have some of these ready, so we printed some,
You
and
had some ready.
Linda ran down and got them, and they were at the front booth. It was really great. So anyway, we want to thank Kevin Top especially for doing the work. And he's so, I have to tell you, I've never worked with anybody like Kevin before, that you make changes, you make changes, you make changes, you make changes, and he's so patient. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything more, anything more? It's great.
Because there's a lot of changes when you're making those things.
It's constant changing, constant changing.
But no, he actually, I have to say, he actually questioned things and just didn't like design it and print it. It was like, does this make sense? Which is really admirable from somebody doing the design, not just copy and print. So.
Special.
They're not gonna mail them out?
Yeah, that's my question.
Well, no, well, you can only, on the flyers in the
Costs too much.
Century, they have to be 8.5 by 11 flat. And we didn't want to do that because we like to have them like this.
You have to
So-
change a little bit too, to have like when you
Yeah.
fold it up, it turns into an envelope with an address and everything on it.
I mean, it's possible that we could we can't do that direct.
Do you put them out at the post office? Can you do that?
No, we can't put them in the post office, but we're doing what we can to get them out.
Maybe we could
So-
hire like a little kid and have like a paperboy route, and he could do it 4 times a year.
That's a really good idea.
And have both canyons, or all 3 canyons, have like some of the kids in the canyon do it.
What's going on? If you don't get them.
We'll find a way to get it to you. Don't worry. And
We'll go door to door.
this is SMRPD, pretty much specific stuff that's in here. It's either going on at our centers or it's benefiting some of our programs.
Hey, Shay, you
That's
know,
what's in here.
Mary
Or
left,
classes.
but, you know, her bulletin board, maybe she would donate one of her slots to
Yeah.
That's
to
a
have
good
those.
idea.
Yeah, by the
People go
post
right by
office,
that.
that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be a
Okay.
good spot.
And if you guys have any ideas of where we could take them, we can deliver them.
I just didn't, we used to get them mailed out, and weren't they folded like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different layout though, because like I said, when you fold it all up, it has the address, post
Yeah,
office box placed.
Oh, it doesn't have a spot for the
Yeah, it would have to
address?
be designed to
Are
do
you
that.
volunteering to do that, Wendy? You're so good at it.
Oh, I can stuff
We could get
envelopes.
together. We'll get together.
Yeah, you could do them in envelopes.
Yeah.
We could. I
We
wouldn't mind
could.
doing that.
I've got a
Yeah.
few envelopes.
The
Yeah.
best idea I think that we had though before, which I think we might have talked about it when Brett was on the board, was let's get some kids in each canyon and
Yeah.
have them drop them
Hand
off.
hand them out, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I have my mom do that. Yeah. Put my mother to work.
She turned into a child.
Yes.
Okay, next item is facilities, maintenance and safety. Shay, you had the first
Oh,
one?
okay. So the sand, when Capri sent Rick Richards to walk our facilities, he thought Majesco Park was really cute. He didn't think that there was a problem with having sand there, just that the sand gets impacted and needs to be softened all the time. And we're low on soft sand there. So he suggested at that time 5 or 10 yards of sand refill. And the way we would do that, is Steve still here? No. Steve would rototill it, and then we would immediately add the new sand, and it would mix in and create a safe enough space around that. And so we've been trying to figure out how to do that, and I finally got 2 bids, but some of the emails didn't go to, obviously, the correct email address because they weren't in my box. So I have 2. And I don't know if it's something that, you know, the board can do tonight or not, but I have one for $708 for 5 yards of sand delivered. And this is playground quality sand that the state allows. It's not just basic construction sand. And then another one was $11.59. So I don't know why there's a big difference between the two. I would want to have more bids, but there's not that many playground sand wholesale companies around. I'm having a hard time finding them locally.
Or
So,
can you see if he's outside, Steve?
So I wanted to get a bid also from Rick Schultz, and I haven't received that yet, so.
So the only thing I remember from when Steve and I have talked about it and looked at it in the past is we can't just put new sand on top of the old.
Right.
The problem with the sand up there is from the flooding and the fire, the sand that's now there is full of mud. It has
Right.
to come out and be sent away. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, I don't think that's something Steve wants to do, so I
It,
don't think
it
we
would
should.
be a lot of work. I mean, it'd be
It'd
great
be-
to dig out the hard sand, get rid of it, use it for something else in the canyon, and then bring in 10 yards of sand instead. So, like, basically, it's gonna cost probably close to $2,000 for 10 yards of sand. Does that make sense? Playground sand, Dan?
We don't use playground sand, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, we use silica sand, which is fine sand for footing, and we have different levels of sand, and it mixes in. So if if you have mud in the bottom of that or regular dirt, it's gonna mix in and compact, and you're gonna waste your $2,000. So I would say, you know, get a quote from somebody who really knows what they're doing, and look at the whole picture to do it right the first time, because otherwise you're gonna waste it.
Then we'd be looking at installation also then. Unless
Right.
we're doing this with volunteers, and that's digging out and bringing in, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
But
then, do we wanna wait?
It would be, yeah, it'd be a waste of our money to do it. So, and then, this guy didn't say how many, it's just a load.
It's 5 yards. I asked for bids on 5 yards,
Okay.
which is 7 tons, I guess.
I'm confused, is somebody saying you can rototill it and that's enough, and somebody else has looked at it and,
Steve's been rototilling it all along.
No, rototilling is not enough right now because we need more soft sand, plus we need it rototilled.
well, but I'm hearing people say if you rototill it, that's gonna not be a good thing, you need to excavate it.
It's a short-term fix, but he could be rototilling it every week to keep it fluffy, because from the, it's out right on that steep slope, and so all that mud from after the fire, it's now mud and sand, and it just compacts, where the sand by itself would stay fluffy with playground sand.
So we had somebody with technical expertise who looked at it and said, it's not gonna work
Right.
to do rototilling and putting fresh on top.
You're right.
I wonder if a barrier around the sand pit would.
Well, what I was thinking is maybe when we're doing this and spending the money, maybe we better put a barrier on the upside so that the water flows around and not, because it's liable to do it again, depending on the quality, so.
Right.
I think we probably aren't ready today. You could maybe get it in time for the meeting next Saturday.
I'll try to get Steve to go over and rototill. I'm just concerned about the sand, so
Yeah.
I wanna do
Well,
something.
part of the reason to do this is that Steve could go rototill it every week, but we only get so many hours of his time included in, so we
Let's use playground
pays it.
like you use at the children's center.
Not there, well,
We
you have to
still
go
have-
see Majesco Park. The way it's designed and everything right now, this sand's cool.
Plus the playground chips, like I found in my yard in Majesco burned during the fire. My mulch burned.
And they're
so.
decomposing really fast too. Your chips that you donated, we need more. At the children's center, they,
So we found even at the children's center, somebody's gotta go with a pitchfork and fluff them every
Fluff
so
'em.
often.
yeah.
Kids love sand, love digging. The kids like to play in sand. It's fun to dig in and push their trucks and,
The kids at the children's center have moved all over to the sand area when they play.
yeah,
They go down the slide and run over there and dig.
yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
would
it's
do
like the sand.
if I was a little kid.
Okay, so we better wait.
You can
do it.
Yeah, I'll just try to
I've
get
been over
it.
the bars a couple times.
Okay, I put the second thing on here just because I didn't want to give stuff away without board permission. The Majesco Community Center kind of became a catch-all after the fire and the subsequent floods, 2007, 2008. And I forget who donated all the stuff, but there's these laundry baskets full of family, take-home bleach, towels, masks, and all this stuff, and they're stacked up in the back room of the Majesco Community Center. We want to get them out, and we thought, well, rather than, just junk them, we could put them out by the road or something for free and have everybody just take one home. There's
Right.
probably maybe, 20, Debbie? 20?
Maybe put on next door or something and see if you get people to want to come get it and have it open one day and people can come get it.
guess my only concern about giving them away is that you guys in Silverado just had a giant fire and you're next in line for the mud flow, and I hate to tell you how awful it was.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, maybe
I
we better
think
hold on.
Yeah, hold on to it for.
Considering we might
move
need
on.
them in 20 days, I think.
For safety, we have to move them to a locked room, and so what we'd have to do then is just get them out of that building and put them in the little shed in the backyard.
Or you can
The
lock one
little
of the
woodpecker
rooms
shed.
there.
Or lock the room up.
And lock that. Well,
Lock the
there's no
room up.
lock on the door right now, so you would
Just need a
have to
hasp.
Just put a-
change
put
the
a
lock
hasp on
the
there.
door.
Yeah, just,
And,
Who else uses the stuff in that room?
nobody uses that room
Yeah,
right
just lock
now.
it up.
It was,
Let's have him put a hasp on it, because
okay.
you guys aren't gonna just pray. I mean, we didn't get rain, we didn't get the flood at our house till the second year. And then, I think it was the fourth year, it was worse. The third, yeah, the second year we got mud up to our mud sill in our house. And there was a little mud in the street, and the third year, it was total chaos.
Right.
I mean, mud this deep in my yard, in my driveway.
And the
Some
Kobe
people-
fire,
my
the
next
same
door
thing.
neighbor-
It was-
My next door neighbors had 4 feet. They lost all their cars, their motorcycles, their garage. So I'd hang on to them because,
Okay, we'll just move
yeah,
them.
no, lock the door. Have Steve put a hasp on the door.
Okay.
Okay, next item.
And then, when we, Steve and I did a walk around the parks, last week, the stuff that's stored underneath the stage over here that he's using to work on the stage, and some of the stuff that's brought out periodically when there's concerts and stuff like that is underneath there. And the skirting never got finished because we stopped work, this board, voted to stop work on the stage, or didn't want to approve any more funding to the stage. And so it's open in the back, and as you drive by, you see all that nasty mess underneath it. And kids have been coming here and pulling it out and using it for whatever, and I cleaned up all around the side of the park over there with all the stuff that got brought out from underneath.
Continuation of our meeting, we're back for the session, it's 9:20.
It was, this came from Orange Unified.
And,
It's not even this.
it's probably, you guys wanna listen?
They don't care. Not if you waited this long.
So I'm able to report that there was a motion made to waive attorney-client privilege pending clarification of a couple items from the attorney based on information that Linda had that Shay and I didn't have when we talked to the attorney and gave her the background information. And the motion passed unanimously, and so as soon as we get that, we will send it out on Dropbox to waive attorney-client privilege, so it's making the document public.
And there are 2 questions that you still need to get review from the attorney about?
Yes, so the attorney depended on what she'd heard from Shay and I. And Linda goes, well, that's not right, because here's an email from Shay that contradicts that. So we're gonna go back to the attorney and say, what does this mean?
And Shay and I are in agreement on what it is, but we just want it right in the report.
Okay, thank you.
So she's unfortunately in Boston, so I don't know how soon she'll get to it, but I'll call her. Not
Because
tonight.
if this went out right now, there's one thing that may be incorrect. And we don't want that going out to the public incorrect, when we have a chance to change it.
Can't you just redact it?
No, I think it should be there. It needs to be fixed.
It just
I mean, it
needs
needs to be fixed
clarification.
because something appears to be incorrect about it. And that's all. So is there a motion to adjourn? Nobody has any other things they want to talk about?
Sorry, we didn't have anything juicy for you.
One of the things that I never got established either, there's no such thing as a motion to adjourn, you just.
Oh,
So I'll
just
leave.
see ya
You know
later.
It's 9:22, and let's leave.
All right.
Thank you.
Who's gonna sign the
Here's the
check?
cafe.